What's going on, freaks? This is David Shirley with Invictus Powerlifting, here with Joe Morse today. Going to give an interview. He's been with me a long time. Y'all will enjoy this. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
I'm Joseph Morse, 30 years old, originally from Alma, Arkansas. Went to school here at Arkansas Tech to get my undergraduate, to become a teacher and a coach. I normally compete in SPF, Southern Powerlifting Federation. I branched out, did a Revolution Powerlifting Syndicate meet this past weekend. I compete normally in the 275 weight class. I've competed all the way up 308 super heavyweight, but at this point it's going to be 275 and under.
How'd you get started in powerlifting?
2011, one of my buddies, Landon Harris, decided I'd come up to the gym with him. It was deadlift day. Came in and pulled pretty good that day. I think I pulled in the 525 range. First time I'd ever been in here, and got told I could come back, so that's how I got into it.
What's your best lift and favorite lift, or are they the same?
My best lift is squat. I've always been good at that, even in high school. That's where I hold more records than anything in the state of Arkansas. My favorite lift currently is starting to become bench press, just because that's my weakest point. And it fascinates me to be so strong in squat and have a weakness in bench. And so working with the guys that I have, it's become one of my favorite lifts. I actually spend more time on it than anything else. And it's coming along just a little slower than the others have.
The guys that follow you, I mean, they know that that's your weakest link. We all have a weakest link. What are some of the things you're doing to better that now? Or what is the direction that you're headed right now?
I've gotten with Dan Martin, and he's kind of working a program with me. We're hitting more speed bench, adding in some more accessories. Justin Rogers has me doing a lot of different things with him. We do dumbbell bench, actually working a lot more, trying to build up my back, not only just for bench, but for deadlift and squat, because that's my weakest point on all three, is my upper back.
What do you think your biggest success is so far? What do you consider your biggest success to be?
My biggest success so far, I've hit a pro total in 275 raw in SBF, finished with a 1910 total. But overall, my biggest success, I had a goal to have the biggest squat in our gym, and which was held by you. And last year in the meet in Fort Smith, came around, I hit my third attempt at 805, walked over, looked right at you, and I said, I'm coming after it. Said 820, put it on the bar. That day also, when 820 got put on the bar, most people are used to hearing my song "Eye of the Tiger," which it played the first three attempts, and all of a sudden, "Roll On 18-Wheeler" by Alabama came on. Everybody's looking around, going, "What's going on?"
I remember.
That meet happened to be a week or 2 weeks before the 1-year anniversary of my dad's passing, and so that song had a lot of emotion built behind it. And even though that's not your typical squat song, it kind of hit something inside of me that pushed me to go above and beyond. And I hit the 820 squat, stepped off the platform, and my mom standing there, just tears rolling down her face, wrapped her in a big hug. And between the emotion of that, and then of course breaking the record and having the biggest squat in the gym now, that was probably my most successful and proud moment.
That was one of mine too. That was a big day. Where do you see yourself heading from now? What's your goals now? Where you hoping to be?
My overall goal is each day being better than I was the day before. But at this point, I've set a goal to get a 2,000 pound raw total, whether that be at 275 or 242 or somewhere in between. Eventually, after that, I've thought about going into equipment just to kind of have a little bit of fun in that. I've looked at some strongman stuff, but overall, my ultimate goal, like I said, is to be better today than I was yesterday.
That's where we all should be. What's your favorite piece of gear, and just tell them a little bit about the gear that you use personally every day.
Well, depends on what the lift is. If we're talking about bench press, I have my wrist straps. I use Iron Rebel Outlaws. I like them because of the belt loop system. I don't have to worry about the thumb loop and having to take that off and everything else around it. Squat day, I have my knee sleeves because I have real bad knee problems. I want to keep them warm beforehand. Knee wraps, I use lately my newest pair, the Elite FTS crates. Huge rebound out of these. I love rebound. That's what I'm after. So these have come in real handy for me. My belt is the SBD lever belt. And the great thing about this lever belt, unlike the other basic lever belts, is this one is an adjustable lever belt. So I don't have to unscrew it to adjust it every time. So I like my belt tighter on bench than I do on squat. And I like it tighter on squat than I do deadlift. So for me to be able to adjust it multiple times throughout the day, that really helps me out.
Let me show y'all something else before he walks off from there. You'll really like this. If you pay real close attention to his belt, you can see super heavyweight all the way down. You look real close at this, you can check this out. Super heavyweight, you can see all of the little notches where he keeps coming down as he gets lower and lower and lighter and lighter. I've always thought that was cool to watch this belt. We're about to have to start drilling new holes in it for him.
Next thing that I got going into for squat and deadlift are my Asics wrestling shoes. I like wrestling shoes because I want to be as close to the ground as possible. I don't like the lift, the elevated shoes. If it was up to me, I would squat barefoot, but I can't really do that. So the next closest thing that I found are the wrestling shoes. When it comes to deadlift, you gotta have long socks. I love having crazy long socks. Normally wear pink socks. It's last meet. Aspen, your daughter, actually made me some socks. And of course you can see everybody there thought these were kind of cool. And on the bottom she put me a little message that says, "Don't suck." And every time I get ready to lift, that's the first thing she always says to me. She looks at me and smiles and says, "Don't suck." And so the socks say that, and just the being able to stand out, these are great. I actually got to go train in St. Louis. I went up to a coach's clinic and got to train at a gym up there where the Skull Smash is made. And so he actually made me a sample while I was there. Told him, I said, when the Hooligan came out, I was gonna order it. Ordered it. He sent this with a handwritten note, and I actually used this at the meet this weekend and took a hit of it, and it about hit me back. The other thing that I use is a mouthpiece. Keeps you from grinding your teeth, but it also gives you another muscle group that's firing. And anytime you fire more muscle groups, that's better in lifting. And the one thing I like about this, the New Age mouthpiece, is it's open in the front. So the old mouthpiece I had trouble getting the big air in or breathing. This thing you can breathe with and still have something there to keep your teeth from grinding and get another muscle group working.
Everybody knows you train with a team. Tell us a little bit about the team and the people that are around you that you train with.
Over the years, I've trained with several different people. Came in, started training with you, took as much knowledge as I could from you. Of course, being the main guy here, you had a lot of people around you, so kind of transitioned over to training with Adam Rogers. Learned a lot from him over the years, and then ended up recently getting with his brother Justin Rogers, and Justin is working with him, kind of took everything that we've known and our knowledge together, and we've kind of skyrocketed. I train with him. I train with his wife Charity, one of the strongest female powerlifters in the state of Arkansas. Just being able to train with so many different people, have so many different eyes around, helps me to be better. Anytime you can get different perspectives, because even if it's a beginner, they may see something that you don't see, or see it in a way that you don't see.
A lot of people don't realize that. Of course, the people that don't know Justin Rogers, he was my original training partner. So as I came up and did all my records, that was who was handling me as well. So obviously, if we're going to pass somebody off, we're going to pass them off to him. But what you may not know about Joe is he's not just a competitor. He's talking about all these people he trains with, but he helps to train a lot of these people. So it puts a whole different perspective on it. When you're helping somebody else, you end up helping yourself a lot. It just builds your character. But as you see their mistakes, you end up fixing mistakes of your own. It always works out good.
See, and that's the other thing too, is if, I say something to them, it may dawn on me, hey, I need to do that, or
Exactly.
It opens up my eyes to things. But like I said, sticking with Justin Rogers, I don't go anywhere without him.
I don't either.
We've traveled multiple states. He's handoff guy on bench press. He wraps my knees on squat. I have videos where he's wrapping my knees and I'm calling him names, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy because he's cranking on them. And they get so tight, my legs turn purple. And he'll wrap me and then he'll go wrap Charity, and she hates it because he has to work so hard because my legs are so much bigger to get the wraps around my legs, and then he doesn't realize that he's got to take it down a notch. And one of the biggest things with him is he pushes me on bench press and deadlift, and he does the bodybuilding stuff, but he gained weight for a little bit so he could try to push me in all the different lifts. And he's always there to push me and to make me better in everything that I do.
Great training partner for sure. Talking about some of the new lifters there that we've got in the gym, and of course, we both are big proponents of the Arkansas Powerlifting Facebook page and their web page. All the new lifters and stuff, they're going to see this. If you were going to give some advice to a new lifter, what's some of the advice that you give to a brand new lifter or somebody just starting out, they're thinking about getting into the sport?
Number one is if you're going to be a powerlifter and you're going to do powerlifting, get in as many meets as you can early and often. The best place to learn is the platform.
I don't feel strong enough.
That's what I was about to say. Everybody says, well, I'm not ready. I can't compete with so-and-so. I can't compete. My first meet I ever did, I ended the day with a 1285 total. 7 years later now, my best meet is a 1910 total at the same weight. 635 pound improvement. Just do it. That's the best way to learn. Get on the platform, do it. The other thing is surround yourself with people that care. When I walk through this door, it's like a family atmosphere. Everyone in here wants to help you. I have people travel with me to come watch me at meets. I go to travel to watch them at meets. We help each other. We hang out with each other outside the gym on occasion. Biggest thing for me that I wish I would have taken a little bit more seriously when I was starting out is nutrition. It's not until recently when my numbers started going up that I really took the nutrition part of it serious. No matter how hard you work in the gym, if you don't fuel your body right or feed your body right, you're holding yourself back.
Well, while you're on that subject, go ahead and tell them a little bit about your nutrition, the way you approach that, and maybe a little bit about the supplements and stuff that you take.
Nutrition-wise, when I'm really on point with my diet, I try to eat clean. Justin gives me a 2-hour window for a cheap meal each week. That means 2 hours. I can eat whatever I want. That 2 hours is up, whether I'm finished or not. That's all of it, and it's back on point. Most of my diet, when I'm really on it, eggs for breakfast, some kind of protein, vegetables, sweet potatoes for lunch, same thing for dinner, protein shake after the gym. Once I started doing that, that's when all my numbers started shooting up. That's when my weight started coming down. I've actually started seeing definition in my body, not just being a strong guy, but actually looking stronger as well.
How about supplements? I know you don't do a lot of supplements, but what supplements do you take?
My base supplements, I take a multivitamin every day, and then my other one is L-arginine, helps your immune system, boosts all kinds of things. That is a staple in my supplement cabinet.
That's one of my staples too. It helps with vascularity. So moving that nutrition around in our body. So that's one of mine as well. You mentioned a while ago that you were thinking about maybe putting on some equipment. Of course, anybody that knows the Proving Ground knows that we do a lot of equipment right here. Even our raw lifters do a lot of equipment right here just for overloads and stuff. What are you thinking? What's in your mind there?
Well, I mentioned some of the guys I trained with earlier, and one of them, Joseph Morse, has put on equipment lately. And, I see the struggle that he goes through, and I kind of want to switch it up a little bit, get into the world of equipment just so that I have a little bit more knowledge in it. I see the struggle he goes through, and I know it's not easier, it's not cheating. And so if I can have a little bit of background knowledge in it as well, that just helps me be a better lifter, raw or equipped.
I think that's right. Kind of going along those same lines, it seems like powerlifting's changed a lot since we started in it. What do you think? Are there any of the new powerlifters that really stick out in your mind?
Some of my favorite powerlifters to watch are female powerlifters, because I train with Charity. And of course, so I'm always keeping up with the female powerlifters in the state, because she's one of the top, and getting to see her compete, getting to see the girls that compete against her. We had another one in here, Kelly Sanders, trained in here a couple years ago or within the last year, and watching her and the things that she did, it was just amazing. And seeing the videos of like Steffi Cohen on Instagram and all those girls that are lifting heavy weights, the stigma of girls that lift heavy weights look like men, and actually seeing these beautiful women that are
crossing over,
doing the heavy weights, that's an inspiration to the younger girls out there that want to get into the sport. Then you've got here in the state of Arkansas this weekend, got to see Logan Chapman, beast of a dude.
Thumper, yeah.
2,100 pound total, 23 years old. Amazing to see. You got Nick Ramey hitting close to 2,000 pound total at 197 raw. Just getting to compete with the guys in the state of Arkansas that I do, getting to be pushed by them. One of my buddies, Vincent Jackson, deadlift freak.
Amazing guy.
Talk to him all the time on the phone, calls me up. Hey, what'd you deadlift today? This is what I pulled. And so it's a brotherhood, constant push each other to be better than we were.
During your career, have you had to deal with any chronic injuries, or is there any problem you just have to, seems like it continually comes back up?
I have hypothyroidism, so basically my thyroid doesn't work. I take a pill for it every day, which makes my metabolism slow down. So that was one of the biggest things that I had to overcome weight-wise, and that's one of the biggest things with my weight loss journey coming, with powerlifting and everything. But chronic injury-wise, I had shoulder injuries from playing football, and so when I first started out, bench press killed me, hurt, and we did a lot of shoulder stuff, and a lot of times everything that we do, or when we did those, there was no weights involved. People looked at us like we were crazy. I was over there moving my arms around, doing different things with no weights in my hand. As a football coach at school, I tell my kids all the time, it's not about the weight, it's the range of motion. That's how we build our shoulders up to make sure that we keep from injuring them. They're not big muscle groups. They're meant to stabilize. They're meant to help with everything else. So weight's not always important there. And even no weight at all sometimes can be your best friend.
That's right, yeah.
The other biggest thing that I face is tendonitis in the knees, right below my knees. Hurt sometimes so bad. It's another reason why I've gone with the knee sleeves on the way to the gym. Try to keep them warm, keep them loosened up before I get here.
Yeah.
We wrap my knees a little bit sooner now just for protection. We don't always go as tight, just enough to keep the pain to a minimum.
Keep a little pressure on them.
And if it gets too bad, then at this point in my career, I've learned when enough is enough, when to take a step back. Every week we put our body through a pounding, and sometimes it's best just to take a week off. Not necessarily take a week off from lifting, but
Week off heavy.
Take a week off heavy. Hit something else. Find that weak point somewhere else that you can work on, and hit it to build up and keep that chronic injury from coming back.
You know, that's one of the things I think you've done a good job at over the years. Of course, Joe takes criticism really well. And, you know, as we criticize something, you've always been able to attack those weaknesses. And, you know, on those days, you know, even now, you know, even a guy that squats and pulls what you do, we still have determined that your mid-back is your weak point. And so when you see Joe taking an off day, he's over there working on mid-back or something. So, you know, he's making a big difference like that. So you've done a real good job, you know, doing that. But talking about that, what do you do first? What are some of the accessory work you do? I mean, we all know you do the big three, like insane wise, but what are some of the things you concentrate on outside the big three that help them?
On squat and really on deadlift, the biggest thing that I always have used since day one that you got me involved in is the inner and outer thighs. The girl, what everybody calls the girl machine. Still have new guys come in, tell them to go get on that, and they kind of look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, man, you want to squat heavy?
That's a monster difference.
That's where you need to be. You need to spend time there before you start squatting. You need to hit it light, loosen up. Afterwards, hit it heavy. With my deadlift, I can 700 pounds jumps off the floor. So the last little bit, I always have a sticking point. And so we've tried to hit what you call bad deadlifts, and I'm gonna really start focusing on those this training cycle a little bit more. Rack pulls, which I hate to do because that's, of course, that's a weak point.
Yeah.
It's already up off the floor, so it takes away from the explosion off the floor that I have. So anything to where I'm making it harder on myself and taking away my strong points, that's the little small details that I try to focus on.
Of course, you're doing a lot of shoulders and traps and stuff right now too, aren't you?
Yes.
A lot of stabilizer work. Man, I want to really thank you for coming out today. First interview with Invictus Powerlifting. One of my first guys. I would love to call you a kid, but we've way past that. I'm real proud of you. I'm real thankful that you're one of my first here.
Thank you, sir.
Y'all stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more interviews coming through. We're going to do a lot of them in Arkansas and Louisiana, Texas, Illinois, Kentucky. Everywhere I go, I'm going to try to pull out some of the lifters, and we're going to give y'all an opportunity to really learn about these lifters and learn about your peers. Y'all have a good day.